Every CEO has felt this pain. You craft this brilliant strategy in the boardroom, the team is fired up, the goals are huge, and then, somewhere in the day-to-day grind, it just fizzles out. Today, we're digging into how you can stop that from happening and turn that big picture strategy into real, relentless weekly execution. It is probably the most frustrating question in business, right? You have that big, powerful annual strategy session, you build the perfect slide deck with these bold targets, and then, a few weeks later, it feels like nothing has actually changed. That amazing momentum just vanishes. So what's really going on here? Where's the disconnect? Well, this problem actually has a name. It's called the strategy execution gap. And it's this chasm that opens up between your high-level company vision and the actual work your teams are doing day in and day out. This is where ambition meets the messy reality of operations. And, well, it's often where ambition gets lost. Now, in theory, we have a tool that's supposed to fix this. Our key performance indicators, our KPIs. They're meant to be the bridge that spans that gap. They're supposed to be these direct, clear lines connecting that big picture strategy all the way down to what your team is focused on this week. But let's be real for a minute about how this plays out in most companies. What are KPIs supposed to do? They're supposed to drive focus, to deliver results. But what do they actually become? More often than not, they turn into these stale numbers on a spreadsheet, forgotten until the end of the month. They lose all their power to guide anyone in the moment. And this is so important. When that KPI bridge collapses, your company's performance stalls out. And look, this isn't just some small inefficiency we're talking about. This is the exact point where predictable, sustainable growth starts to sputter and break down. Okay, so let's talk about the real consequences of this, because there is a very real, tangible cost to flying blind. And I bet it's a lot higher than you think. Just ask yourself this question. What is the true cost, the actual price you pay, for only getting a clear look at your most important metrics once a month, or even worse, once a quarter? It might feel like a normal business rhythm, but in today's world, is it really fast enough to win? The hidden costs are huge, and they compound over time. First off, by the time a monthly report flags a risk, it's not an early warning anymore. It's already a full-blown problem. Next, without that weekly pulse, your teams just naturally start to drift out of alignment. And then there's the big one. You're stuck. You have to wait 90 days to make a course correction that you knew you needed to make on day 10. And finally, all that amazing energy from your planning session, it just evaporates. You're basically starting from scratch every single quarter. So if that old way of doing things is broken, what's the alternative? Well, it's about a fundamental shift in thinking. It's about moving away from those infrequent, backward-looking reports and toward having your company's performance clearly visualized right now, in real time. Just imagine this for a second. What if, with a single glance, no digging through spreadsheets, no waiting for status meetings, you could see the real operational health of your entire company? A clear, instant signal of exactly where you stand today. And this is what that can look like. So powerful in its simplicity. This is that real-time view, a company health score. You instantly know how many of your core objectives you're tracking, what percentage is on track, and, this is the most critical part, what percentage is at risk today, not last month. And when you have that, you get this huge strategic advantage. Total visibility means you're no longer reactive. You are proactive. You can finally spot those risks when they're small. You can keep every single person on every team aligned and pulling in the exact same direction. And you can maintain a consistent rhythm of execution that drives real, measurable growth. So that real-time dashboard is the what. Now let's get into the how. How do you actually connect this high-level view to the work being done on the ground week after week? The answer is what we call a modern execution rhythm. And it's a really simple but powerful four-step loop. First, you define and track only the KPIs that truly matter. Second, you use that data to plan focused weekly sprints. Third, you track progress against those sprints in real time, which is what feeds that live dashboard we just saw. And fourth, you review, learn, and adapt every single week. It's a cycle. And that's really the whole point of a system like this. It's basically a machine that's designed to do one thing and one thing only: to translate those big, ambitious, long-term goals into focused, consistent, and transparent weekly action. This is how you finally close that strategy execution gap for good. So, we've walked through the problem that holds so many great companies back, and we've outlined a more modern, a much more effective way to execute. And that brings us to one final and I think pretty crucial question for you. So just take a second and be honest with yourself. If you had to put a number on it right now, a score from 1 to 10 for your company's strategic alignment and its execution velocity, what would that score be? And maybe more importantly, is that a number you're willing to bet your company's future on?